Okay.
Welcome, everyone, to Nixon Perspective News, NPN. This happens to be our first viewing taping today, and we welcome you all. My name is Darlene Sky. I'm a docent at the Richard Nixon Docent Guild at the Presidential Library Museum, and we're so happy to have you here today. I'm sure many of you viewers are very attuned to Richard Nixon as President of the United States and his rich legacy of 44 years of political life he had, and quite enriching, enduring to our country and to the world. But today I am very thrilled to share with you the softer side of President Nixon, Richard Milhous Nixon. Very excited to say my name is Darlene Sky, and we have Dee Andicochea here today. Hello, Dee.
Hi, Darlene.
Thank you for being here today. She's also a docent at the library. We're very fortunate. So before she shares the exciting, enduring, softer side of President Nixon, I would like, Dee, for you to tell us a little bit about yourself, where you were born, and I know you live in Anaheim Hills, California.
Yeah, well, I was born in Whittier. I went to grade school and Whittier High School. At the time it was Whittier Union High School, but now there are more, so it's gone back to Whittier High School. My mother and father were born in Anaheim, and my grandmother was born in Whittier. So I left there after I was married, and that was it. But in the meantime, I did have Miss Ryan as my teacher, and met Richard Nixon while she was a teacher there. And it was a time, my freshman year, and it was all new to me, this huge school. And first year, we didn't have a gym teacher, so a coach took us on the front lawn to teach us how to play flag football. Oh. And I wasn't very interested in it, but there were a bunch of us, I don't know, pretty close to 20 of us in a classroom. And this one morning, I saw Richard Nixon coming down the street. The school was on Philadelphia, and I thought he was a college boy, because we had Whittier College not too far from us. And we saw him, and of course I already knew Miss Ryan had a boyfriend. So I went up and took his hand, and he smiled. He had on this, I thought he was a college boy because he had this suit like a college, that wasn't a suit, it was a slacks and a vest and tie and shirt, and took him by the hand to meet Miss Ryan. She was my homeroom teacher. And she smiled at me and thanked me, and then I went back to my playing football in this horrible, horrible gym suit. It was yellow because the freshmen, and we had the same color the 4 years, and there were bloomers, and they were horrible, but I mean, this is what I would look like. So I must have been a sight when I went up and greeted him. But I just had to share this with somebody.
Oh, that's very, very exciting, and we're so thrilled to know this romantic side of Richard Nixon. So you were a young child, only about, what, 13?
Well, my first year of high school, I started in 13, and then I turned 14.
And did many of the classmates, know who Richard Nixon was?
Well, we all knew. Of course, you know, we knew Miss Ryan had a boyfriend, and we all knew that. So I recognized him then.
Did you get permission from your teacher?
No, because I didn't know the rules. Had I been in a classroom, I would never have laughed. But this was, we were playing on the, in the front lawn.
Oh, and what was Richard Nixon wearing as an attorney when he was walking down the sidewalk?
Well, like I said, I thought he was from college. I thought he was one of the young men at college, and he had a pair of slacks, a shirt and a tie, and a vest over it with a V-neck. And he was such a handsome young man, and he was all smiles when I went up to him. And so, I just remember that vividly, and took his hand, and he was just very, happy to be walking with me. I'm sure he might have been a little embarrassed, I don't know.
Well, Dee, that sounds like really exciting. Did you have a little crush as a young girl?
No, it was just Miss Ryan was the one that I really paid attention to. It was her, yeah.
And what kind of teacher was she? I understand that, she was a homeroom teacher and a typewriting teacher, a business teacher.
She was business, I had her as homeroom, so we didn't have too many rules. We came in the morning, signed in, and then did our homework. And as long as you did what you were supposed to do, it was okay. I mean, she did fine, smile at you. But I understand as a typing teacher, and I just talked to a friend of mine last night, and she said, well, if you made a mistake, she says, that's all right, you do it again. But if you made more than 2 mistakes, she was very, very strict. She wanted you to learn it correctly the first time. So, and she did.
Now,
but they all liked her. They all thought it was
I can't get that out of my mind, how cute that must have been, having this young girl holding the hand of a young attorney walking down the sidewalk, and how exciting. And you're, what color were the bloomers again?
Yellow.
And how Richard Milhous Nixon must have felt having this young girl walk him across to his love of his life.
Yes.
And as you walked, I'm trying to think, as you walked him down into the classroom, what was the look on Patricia, Mrs.
She was
Miss
smiling.
Ryan?
She was standing at the doorway. I think she expected him to be, coming around. And she was standing at the doorway of her classroom, and she was just smiling.
Aww. Did he say anything to you after you?
No, he just said thank you, and then I went back to my class.
She went back to her class. Did you get in trouble for leaving
No.
your gym class?
No, I didn't. It was a coach. He was very lenient, and he says, okay, are you back? And I said, yeah, I'm back. So, but I didn't know the rules then. Had I been sitting at a desk, I never would have done that.
And Dee, in your lifetime, when you look back, did you ever think you were holding the hand of a future? And
never.
how does that
Of
feel
course.
like to you now, today?
I thought, my goodness, I was certainly bold.
Gee, Dee, that's such a nice romantic side to know about President Nixon. And if many of you viewers out there, and I hope you'd like to hear about the softer side, if you'd like to hear more of the stories, there's a wonderful book written by Julie Nixon Eisenhower. It's the book right here. It's called Pat Nixon. And if I just could open up to one of the pages, the love letters are so beautiful that Richard Nixon would write to Pat. And actually at the Richard Nixon Presidential Library and Museum, today they have a wonderful exhibit. So if you want to go online to learn where to get the book or read more about the love letters, you can go online or visit the Richard Nixon Presidential Library and Museum located in Yorba Linda, California. But if I can, I'm just going to read one of the paragraphs that, and he signed it Love Dick. He would go by Dick, Richard Nixon, and in his letter he writes, "And when the wind blow and the rains fall and the sun shines through the clouds, as it is now, he still resolves as he did then that nothing so fine ever happened to him or anyone else as falling in love with thee, my dearest heart. Love, Dick." That was Richard Milhous Nixon writing to Pat Nixon a love letter when he was dating her. So this is a lovely story. And before we close with Dee, I want to thank you. So I know you're a docent at the Richard Milhous Nixon Library. Could you please tell us one of your favorite experiences as a docent? 20 years is a long time.
Well, actually, I remember too when Julie Eisenhower, we were at the Biltmore Hotel, and we had been to it was a celebration from Washington, D.C. We were docents, were invited to go, and I participated in it, and it was so lovely. She came across the room just especially to talk to me. She says, "I'm so happy to see you here." And that took me by surprise, but it really made me feel, like she really knew who I was. And another incident was with
Dr.
Kissinger. Dr. Kissinger. He was signing a book in the lobby at the time, and I was at the table with him, and he handed me the book after he signed it, and there were some protesters out in front, very loud. And he said to me, "Are they talking about me?" And I said, "Nah." And he laughed.
That's so cute. Thank you, Dee, for sharing the memorable stories. I'm very proud to say that Patricia and President Nixon were married for 53 wonderful years, up until her passing in 1993. And the story goes that when President Nixon lost his loving wife, he never felt the same. He lost the love of his life, and he passed himself within 10 months and passed away in April of 1994. So their love story still lives on today, and in tribute to them, I want to thank you very much for being here today. And Pat Nixon's favorite quote was "Onward and Upward." And on behalf of the Docent Guild of the Richard Nixon Presidential Library and to thank you, Dee Andicochea, for being here, and to thank the staff of the entire museum and library and the Docent Guild. We thank you very much for listening to our first installment of Nixon Perspective News, and hope you tune in again someday. Onward and upward. So long. Thank you. Welcome everybody again, and we're at Richard Nixon's Presidential Library Museum, and we thought what a great time for us to go for the exhibit of Pat Nixon when she was a teacher at Whittier Union High School. And we're so lucky today because guess who was up here? A student at what school?
Whittier Union High School.
And what is your name?
Jose Bojorquez.
Okay, and when do you graduate?
2013.
So the school is still here, the one that Pat Ryan taught. And thank you, Jose, for being here, and utmost congratulations on your graduation. Thank you. Bye-bye. And
Bye,
here
Jose.
we are. And here we are with
Dee. I was also there. My school is right behind me as I remember it. And it was really nice to meet Jose, a student now.
And isn't it wonderful to know that we have a former student and a present student, and we're just happy to be here at the exhibit. And I was going to ask Dee, tell us a little about, now we have here at this wonderful Pat Nixon exhibit, it's the centennial celebration here at the museum. The desks that Dee Andicochea actually sat in the homeroom teachers. So can you tell us a little bit about the desks?
Well, I don't remember that much, but I'm sure was very comfortable at the time. I know they didn't have the drawer that went in, that our little secret little things went in there, but they were just big enough for what we needed. And
now we see the pictures. So if you take a look, please direct your attention to the school when, as it looks now, when Jose went to the school and when Dee went to the school. So Dee, why don't you tell us where you saw Richard Nixon and held his hand?
well, it was at the end of the building. We had a side street that was Whittier Avenue, and Philadelphia was the front of the school. And I would just go up towards the end of the school, and when I saw him, and I took his hand, and we walked across, and this is where I was playing the football in front, walked behind this building, between this building and that building, to the back where Miss Ryan was.
Wow, that sounds so much fun. And then our next exhibit over here, direct your attention, and Dee, if you can walk a few steps over there and show us the homeroom, what it looked like, similar to that portrait.
This is similar to the one we had here, and this is, we sat there at a different type of a desk, and took our roll call and did our homework, and when we were ready, we went on to the next room.
Very good. So thank you for the exhibit. And to close up here, Dee, what was the slogan or the motto of Fullerton Union High School?
Well, we did, okay, the motto, we had Cardinal was our motto, was our mascot, and we have, it was just the Cardinal chatter.
Well, very good. Cardinal chatter. Go Whittier Union High School. Hip, hip, hooray. Up, up, and onward. Thank you.